You ever get so burnt out that the prospect of going to your job makes you physically ill? You know, the point where it's like Wednesday and you're trying to wake up and get to work on time, and it's becoming harder and harder with each passing second. You ever had that day, week, month, year? I'm sure you have. If the YouTube algorithm recommended this channel to you, it sounds like we may be on the same boat here. A little bit about myself, so we're not just talking to each other without knowing each other, right? I'm 31. I have a kid. I have a 9 to 5 at a corporate job. I'm fairly blessed to have that, so I'm not speaking to the void and spitting into the face of the gift horse, right? But I do think it's important that we acknowledge how hard it has been for us, for me and you. Come yap with me today, man. Come sit down and play a game with me, and just we can talk about our day together. I want you to listen to my day, and I want to talk about yours. You know, and just how crazy things have been lately. Today we're gonna play one of my favorite games. We're gonna play Tekken Advance for Game Boy Advance. Did you play that one when you were younger? If didn't, let me know, or let me know if you did. Matter of fact, just tell me your favorite game in the comments. I would love to hear about it, so we can relax and maybe I can give it a shot later one of these days, especially if it's on Game Boy. I'm pretty fond of those right now. But back on topic here, this is more so going to be a platform for us to talk about what's ailing us, right? As adults, we're not kids anymore. We're not children. We never, we as a millennial, 31 millennial myself, and for you, I'm gonna assume you're close to that age range, which I hope you at whatever age you want to be here, but still, we're gonna focus on that age range because that's what I have experience with. I'm living that life right now, right? So what I want to do is just create this space, like I was saying, and the first thing I want to talk about is, the burnout that we're experiencing, kind of like this mass societal burnout I feel like we're experiencing. First things first, it's not fun. None of us are having fun. Even as we play this game, I bet you feel guilty playing it. I feel a little guilty playing it myself. I could be saving or hustling for the next dollar or going over my resume or sorting out my LinkedIn or whatever job page profile I have that isn't really doing much, but it's there, right? The first thing is we gotta, I don't know, it's okay to play. It's okay to be, but it's okay to feel like it's not okay. That's just what we're dealing with right now. And I'm sure you guys have seen everything going on in the world today with the way, the country, my country being America, is being run. But again, it's just kind of a worldwide burnout feeling for us. And I think the first thing we need to do is take a breather, relax, maybe play a game or two, right? The second thing I think I want to focus on is just how easy it is to fall victim to the burnout and to make these things, or to let these things kind of take up so much space, so much time from you. I think the first thing we need to do when it comes to, after recognizing it and then sitting down with it and noticing this is burnout and this is not okay, is to figure out a system to get ourselves under control here. So here's what it is, boss. It's 2025, and apparently the adulthood that we were promised our entire childhood as millennials, this means you trade all your time for money, and you trade all that money for bills, which doesn't get you more time. So it's a broken cycle. It keeps you alive. All that stuff keeps you alive, but everything that keeps you alive costs $50,000 a piece. $50,000 a piece, just about. Or in, I guess, American terms, about $20 for everything. Everything costs just about $20, right? And that's just enough to keep you alive. You can go to work and make more money. Meanwhile, the part where you're supposed to go enjoy life is somewhere in between loading screens of you being on the bus on the way to work, or loading screen of you in the meeting that should have been an email that is, now taking up more of your time, energy, and mental bandwidth, to the point where, you want to rage quit. You want to get out of it. You want to stop doing it altogether and go live on a farm, pick some berries. And I'm right there with you, boss. I really, truly am. This is no life for me, and I'm pretty sure there's no life for you. But thanks for joining me again. And what we're going to talk about today in today's rant is how trying to relax in 2025 is harder than playing on playing a game on an unplugged Mad Catz controller. Let's talk about it. And if you're anything like me, I'm pretty sure I can schedule out or eke out your workday schedule in a couple bullet points here. It's 6 a.m. Your cat or your kid wakes you up because they think the sun is an alarm clock, and you're up and about it for the day. If it's not your cat or your kid, it's the alarm waking you up because you decided to work the early shift to cover for one of your coworkers because that seemed like the good thing to do for office morale or something intangible like that, right? You stumble into the kitchen like an NPC with like the most broken AI, jank Gary's Mod AI you can find. And from there, you can drink coffee that's already hot and cold and not enough caffeine, even though you bought it specifically for the caffeine content. And then you log into work, and work is fine, but it's not. It's the most realistic office simulator, except there's no skill tree for progression because progression is being blocked by the higher level players that have been playing this game for years, essentially. Meetings, deadlines, all of that gets moved, but it never disappears. You know, you get through a deadline, there's another deadline. Close a ticket, here's another ticket. You finish one phone call, there's 2 more phone calls. And while you're on that phone call, you haven't finished your ticket from before, right? And it's more so about showing up at this point. We've gotten past the point, at least I have, where I believe that the corporate ladder is something that we can utilize, or at least my age group can utilize, unless you're like min-maxing the corporate stuff, right? Which I'm not doing. And I don't think that anybody should do that. And I think that if you're doing that, I really hope you have a solid plan to make sure that you're getting what you can and what you need out of the situation you're in, and not letting the directionless ladder take you to somewhere you don't want to be. And I know I'm not the only one feeling like this. Of course I'm not. If this video hit your feed, hit your timeline, it's because YouTube recognizes that maybe you're going through something too, just want somebody to talk to. And I'm glad you found our channel. And I understand that, you know, some of you guys are out here working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, with a couple side hustles on the side, right? And I'm no stranger to that. Oh, you think I'm on YouTube now? You know, not only do I need somewhere to put all my frustrations at and hopefully find a like-minded community that gets it, but like, we all need a couple bucks. And I'm hoping I can get a couple bucks out of this one, right? But when you sit down and play a game, or when you sit down and relax from doing all of that, that feels like a job. That feels like a chore. And that's not okay. That's the one thing that we have to escape from reality. Now feels like a job. And that's kind of outstanding. They've managed to workify gaming instead of gamifying work at this point, which is an outstanding feat to be sure, because it shouldn't be like this, but it is. And you know, we're doing our best to combo through it, to make our way through it, and you're not alone in doing so. But it's just grating, and I know you know what I'm talking about, because even relaxing feels like a side hustle. Like I was saying earlier, you want a game, cool. First, you got to make sure your recording's on. Second, you got to make sure your audio is fine. Third, oh man, that game needs a 60 gigabyte update, but just updated it yesterday. It's like those day 1, day 2, day 3 patches aren't finished uploading yet. And then you log in and realize all your friends are 3 expansions ahead, or are also working. So are they never online, or they've been online all day because it's impossible to find a job right now. So they're just about to get off it because their eyes are bleeding from job applications and playing the game to de-stress from applying to jobs, right? And the kicker about that is just how much of a myth free time has been, or is showing itself to be at this point in time. You know, that's just the part that gets me the most. You know, you realize that the free time you've been saving for all day, you've been looking forward to all day to enjoy your media, your game, work on your side hustle, improve upon yourself, you know, using your 5 after 5, but the second you get to relax, you just kind of zone out and turn off. And that's just one of the harder parts about things right now, you know, because it's not just you. Again, I'm going to reiterate that throughout this video. It's not just you. It's all of us feeling like this. And we you know, we should talk about feeling like this to each other. One of the main things I want to talk about here is finding that time for yourself. freeing yourself from the prisons that you put on yourself. I'm guilty of it too. Amongst all the things that I want to do, like play the game, do some art, design a logo or something, there's things that I have to do: dishes, cooking, laundry, trash, cleaning about to the kid, cleaning about to myself, making sure the whole family's together. I'm a dad, and that's a full-time job in and of itself, on top of my full-time job. And it sucks to feel that way. It really is not fun, and it's not where I imagine myself being when I was younger, when it comes to enjoying my free time or having hobbies and stuff like that. Now most of my hobbies are to the point where I have to monetize them to survive, or I have to start thinking about monetizing them in order to get a return out of it. And really, the investment into myself should be the point of that. This should be the point of you wanting to play your game. You're investing in your mental health to get more out of your processing in your waking hours. But it's hard to do so because everything feels like you should be working. Everything in the world right now has you feeling like you should be on the clock, when it's just not the case. We're community animals, and we're geared towards making sure that we have the most time to relax as humans. I believe, at least. I don't think what we've been told our whole life as millennials and Gen Zs, hell, even Gen Xers get in here, is that we need to do more work to relax. We should just be able to relax. And especially at this day and age, we're already working more than the generations before us have, statistically. I know when I turn in my timesheet at the end of the week, it rarely says 40 hours. It's usually 50, right? And I don't want this to be taken as play games instead of doing your laundry, or don't do the dishes. We got goblins to kill. No, you should do that laundry. You should do your dishes. You should find time to take care of yourself, because that's one of the few things that's going to help you feel better and help this relaxation not feel like a waste of time. Is taking care of yourself, right? But you should also try your best to factor in time to have guilt-free game time. Take 10 minutes to play a game. Our phones are computers now. We can emulate things. Learn how to emulate a Game Boy game. Play 10 minutes of a game you used to play in your childhood. I know we got them. Pokemon fans out there. I'm playing on a Game Boy right now. And right now, I think we're playing Tekken Advance, which is pretty good for getting the stress out, relieving the stress of that day. You can play this right on your phone. You can do YouTube like I'm doing right now. This is my first video, but I'm hoping that you guys like it, and there'll be a lot more coming, I'll tell you what. But anything we need to do right now, we need to try to do it guilt-free. There's enough guilt for you at work. There's enough guilt for you at home. There's enough guilt for you and your family. You need to reconnect with yourself and your friends and make sure that you're taking care of your mental health. I need to do so too. So I hope you're playing a game with me right now. And if you are, drop it in the comments. Again, I love to hear what games you're playing. I love to see what people are doing. And then what's really shaking in the game world today. I'm a little bit behind the times when it comes to games that are not, Game Boy games. Lately, I've been playing Black Sad Under the Skin, really good story game. And if I get my laptop together, I might record some gameplay of that. We can watch that and talk about that. It'd be fun, I think. If you play Wolf Amongst Us, it's kind of like that game. Really fun. Really, really good storylines to be had there. And then, honestly, talking about that game and hearing you guys, or hoping to hear from you guys about the games you're playing, segues me into my next point, which is, treat your personal time like sacred time. I'm looking to do wood burning soon, for example. I'm going to have to make sure that I give myself the time to make the space for the wood burning that I want to practice, skill that I want to learn. I want to incubate for myself. Give space for that, because it's not fair that I sit here and say, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I don't slow down, take a breather, evaluate the urgency of the task that I have to do, and then decide whether I can responsibly take some time to play a game, responsibly take some time to look at my cards, responsibly take some time to draw something that's not for a client, right? And we do need that as humans. We need that to remind ourselves that we're not just an NPC in somebody else's story, but we're playing our own cutscene as well. I think that or I believe so at least, that we need to reconnect with ourselves, especially in 2025 after the past 5 years that the world has been going through. And to niche that down a bit, the country of America has been going through. If you're an American citizen, I think it's time for us to reconnect with ourselves and heal. And not in an isolationist way. I think we've had enough of that with the way things are going or the way things have been now, right? We need people. But we need people that are going to help us de-stress. We need people like our bosses that are going to help us re-stress. So we need people like our coworkers that don't help, or that give us attitude because they don't know how to talk to their coworkers. I know there's a couple of tickets where I was looking for help, and my coworker who was trying to help me, great intentions, didn't really come off the best way, and it didn't sit right with me. And I want to give the benefit of the doubt as far as it goes for their stress. I'm stressed. It's a stressful work day, and that's all valid. And again, my heart goes out to any coworker dealing with that. But my heart also goes out to myself because I should have to deal with that. I don't think you pay me enough to deal with that anyway. I don't think anybody pays us enough to deal with this, but we're doing what we can for what we have. And in doing so, we just have to make sure that we have time to have fun for ourselves. We're already giving everybody else our energy. We need to give some back to ourselves at the end of the day, at the end of the week, even. If it's too hard to at the end of every day, because I know some days I'm just tired. Some days I go to work, I come home, I make dinner, and I go to sleep, and that's understandable. But we have to make sure that throughout the week, we're giving ourselves that save point, that checkpoint, so we can face the rest of the week, regroup, reassess, replan, re-strategize, and do things differently, pivot if we need to, or hunker down and make sure we're driving to our next goal with everything we have. But to close it out here, because I feel like I've ran long enough about just how exhausting things are. 2025 is wild. Adulthood's looking like a scam. And I'm probably going to be talking about it a bit more here, but I don't want this to be super doom and gloom channel. I also want to talk about things that I'm trying to get into that can help in the situation. I'm trying to learn more about investing, for example, which I've strayed away from so long because all the jargon was so confusing to me. But at this point in 2025, especially, it's becoming much, much easier to learn about these things and to take my time and re-strategize, replan, re-authoritize, and re-evaluate what are the most important things to me as an adult at this point in time, And, we might not be able to patch out these horrible, horrific structural incongruencies in real life, but we can take a save point. We can swap out our gear. We can get new gear, forge new gear by working on ourselves and improving ourselves, what we have. And then we can get back in the game and get back to tagging ass like we do to get to the top of leaderboards, right? Listen, guys, it's been Yap a lot. I appreciate you guys showing up for my first video, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next one here. Drop in a comment what game has been keeping you all sane lately. I definitely need recommendations when this grind takes me out, man, because it's coming. But I'm not going to let it. I'm going to fight for you guys and fight for myself. But let me know what's keeping you guys afloat. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to. Hell, give me some pointers that you may have to deal with burnout. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for coming.